Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division video today by me, Vulcan. Today I have for you a 2 versus 2 on Merderet, and in this one I'm going to be playing the 101st Airborne. I'm playing with Valh, who's using the 6th Airborne. We're playing against Weingartner and Dugo, who are using the 12th SS Panzer and 116th Windhund, respectively. So this map really favours our side, and this was a 2 versus 2 ranked game, so there's quite a lot to play for. If we jump to my perspective, I'll talk about what sort of tactics we were going for in this one. So Val's got the 6th Airborne, and he's really trying to get the hang of that division lately. So what we were trying to do anyway, he was going to take the right side, since he has the 17 pounders moving into phase B and C that allow him to cover the right side really well, whereas I have the airborne engineers, so me taking the forests and so on really makes more sense. So even though his 6th Airborne really specialises at close range, especially in the beginning of the game, I was mainly going to be supporting the right or supporting the left, and Val's here is also going to be helping me out a little bit, but yeah, was mainly focused on holding that right side. I basically said that throughout the game we should lightly defend the right and then push the left hard. That's kind of what we tried to go for. Now these defense markers were mainly for where I was going to put AT guns, so I was going to put one just here because it has a really good line of sight up the road, as you can see, and I'm also probably going to put one here because in this tree line here you can see all the way up this road, and then I was also going to put one just here because again you can see up the road. And that's pretty much my AT gun placement for most of the game. Then there's obviously the right side AT gun emplacements, which is here. This one's really nice because it sort of covers the left side of this field and the train track that comes down here. And train tracks actually class as fast move locations, so the enemy units can move, and your own units can use a train line to move fast, which is really cool. And then over on the right side, Val's going to be placing a few AT guns here, but I'll show you guys as the game goes on, because I know some of you guys have been asking me to do tutorials on starting locations for troops, and I guess I can just do it as I'm going along throughout the replays and sort of talk about AT gun placements in each game and sort of where my troops are going at the start, because I think it's very important to lock down where you're going to be putting stuff throughout games, because yeah, it's just so important. So either way, off we go, and I'll just talk a little bit about my units because I haven't done that yet. So I've just got a command infantry here. I've got multiple units of airborne engineers. Then I have a 50 caliber machine gun. I've got the AT guns and a second unit of command infantry. So that's pretty much all that's there. These are 2 mortars. Then I've got some pathfinders to recon the centre, and then I've got some pathfinders to recon the road, and then I've got an AT gun for the road. Val's going to be bringing in a Mosquito Pathfinder, and look at this. He predicted this so that our opponent could not come down this road and move into the compound quick enough. And what he's done here is actually stop this Kubel and half track from getting too close. And if this half track wants to continue, it has to go through the flames. Either way, I'll go back to our perspective, and having this napalm here basically allows us to move up our troops really quite far. So I'm trying to get my AT gun as far as possible. However, this AT gun is actually going to pop Val's infantry here. I also need to unload my pathfinders, but I didn't see that this had happened. So my pathfinders are going to get shot at here and then be forced to unload. Over on the left side, not entirely sure why this was happening. If I just shift click, you can kind of see where all of my troops ended up. So I have my airborne engineers for the left side here. I've got some airborne engineers for the right side. Basically, one engineer squad for each of the little patches of trees, supported by airborne leader on both sides. And I've got another airborne leader on the left with these airborne engineers, which are moving into this lot of trees. And I've got this M3 gun that's basically going to be moving to the edge to get the line of sight down the road, which is what I wanted beforehand. I'm not entirely sure why the vehicle fast moved over here and then unloaded to walk up the tree line, but there we go. Over on the right side, Valh's still using his Mosquito to strafe units on the ground. My Pathfinders are moving all the way up and revealing a spear troop. Trying to get my 50 cal into this building in the center, because since there was no vehicles that came all the way down this road with the napalm and went round into the chateau here, I actually had a decent chance of getting some infantry into here. So that's what I was trying to do. The Pathfinders are getting hit very hard. Going to try and cover them off with the mortar here. Could have very easily used smoke, but instead I tried to use HE because these guys fire very, very quickly. And I'm also using a mortar to HE this forest as well because there's some infantry there. Spear troop are catching on to my M3 gun on the left, so that's a little bit to worry about. And I've got some more reinforcing infantry coming up. So this M3 gun is trying to get into a position where it can be helpful to take out these APCs and half-tracks, but what happens is the Panzer Grenadiers actually find the M3 guns. And I would have used smoke here again, but I wanted the M3 gun to have line of sight. So in this case, it wasn't the most ideal choice, and the mortars there were doing a great job of pinning things down. Voyager Cromwell's coming across. That's going to be taking some shots at my 50 cal. Since my 50 cal opened up onto the Panzer Grenadiers here, I'm going to pin down those Panzer Grenadiers either way with the mortar, and that possibly gives us the opportunity to make them surrender. Over on this left side, Spear Troop still hitting my M3 gun hard. Trying to move forward my engineers here so that they can get into this set of trees. But we've come across these Panzergrenadiere anyway, and you can see that they've opened up with their M1 Garlands onto the Panzergrenadiere there, and I really want to take them out as best I can, because those will stop me making units in this forest surrender. By the way, mortar fire is going to come in onto my airborne engineers, and that's going to force me to fall those back. Also got my mortar going for the kill onto the Panzergrenadiere and counter battery. My 50 caliber machine gun still alive. I've got an airborne rifle squad into the center here. I've also got another airborne rifles into this forest. So now what I'm looking to do is get rid of this Voyager Cromwell, and what I'm going to do is actually smoke it to allow my airborne rifles to get closer. And they're going to go for the bazooka shot here. Unfortunately they missed. So I didn't get the kill onto the Voyager Cromwell, and I know that's still in the smoke, but as long as it's in the smoke that doesn't matter. Here what's going to happen is one of my jeeps gets killed before I can unload the M3 guns, and the second one unloads in front of all of these half-tracks and the Panzer IIIs. That was my bad. I didn't see how far they'd got up, and by the time I'd noticed, I went to unload them and they just got wrecked. So yeah, that was basically why that happened. Pathfinders here are going to open up onto some infantry and get themselves killed. Should have had them on return fire. So little mistakes being made here and there, that's for sure. Those two AT guns dying, that was a massive mistake really. Panzer Grenadiers, these guys are a little bit of an issue to my infantry here, because if they cause my infantry to be pinned down before I pin down their Panzer Grenadiers here, they would have surrendered. But anyway, these airborne engineers don't run away quick enough and do surrender. I lose my airborne engineers to the mortar. Brought up a 50 cal and some airborne rifles to engage the spear through, because I need to get rid of those since they've been harassing me and providing information for my enemy to use the mortar. So, all things considered, this is an extremely intense game right now, and there's not too much of a lead on either side. We've got 150 points from our initial lead, but other than that, things aren't going great. So, and either way, unload my M3 guns. They're going to both be engaging the 2343. Got to be careful with this 2343 because it does have 9 HE power. Fortunately, the second M3 gun is going to get the shot, which is really good because this doesn't actually have any veterancy. My two veteran ones got destroyed up here. So my 50 cal is still firing away onto those Panzer Grens. Airborne rifles are now being hit by enemy mortar fire. And mortar fire is coming in towards this 50 cal, and I'm trying to counter battery that. And I'm considering on the left of just pushing all the way through. So you can see I'm bringing in 4 units of infantry here, and these guys are basically moving up to these locations either side of my airborne rifles, and and then I've got 4 more units coming in to try and push through all the way to the town. And I was considering the fact that if I brought up enough infantry to draw their fire, I might be able to get some units deep into their lines, which really works well for the airborne because they have these wings that allow them, even if they get surrounded, to be combat effective. This boy to Cromwell is still very much alive, trying to get the bazooka on target, and again I miss. So that's just getting really frustrating right now. This boy to Cromwell should have died long ago. My mortar here in this case should be providing smoke support again, but I think I was busy concentrating on my left moves at the moment. Over here a Little John goes down for Valh, and again on the right a Tetrarch goes down. So Val's not having the best time. He's got his pack 75mm in position here. He's got some Pathfinders to give himself some recon, but in general it's not looking great on the right side, and we're losing to a +1, so I'm really counting on this push going well. I do have my airborne rifles in position, and I'm trying to counter battery the enemy mortar again.
Give us a good firing position.
Over on the right side, going to finally finish off the Panzer Grenadiers here. I smoked off the Boy to Cromwell again.
We're supposed to be surrounded.
And if the Boy to Cromwell wants to provide fire support onto the airborne rifles, he has to go through that smoke, so that's what I'm basically putting that there for. Furthermore, this airborne rifles, I'm able to move that up and possibly go for the shot. We do have a half-track coming in on the right side. Over on this left side, I'm just waiting to see if I get shot at by anything, and here's some Panzer Grenadiers. They're going to force me to unload my airborne engineers. Admittedly, I should have unloaded my airborne engineers like a little bit later, so they were in the 100-meter range to use their napalm, but it didn't particularly matter. I have another squad to do that, and they get pinned down anyway by the 50 cal, so that's fine. So I'm going to unload the airborne engineers, run towards them, make them surrender, hopefully. That's what I'm trying to go for there. These airborne rifles are trying to take out the Panzer Grenadier Führer. And there goes the Panzer Grenadiers there, after they get napalmed. And the rest of my infantry is just going to drive all the way through. And with those Panzer Grenadiers dead, I found my hole in the front line, and this is allowing me to push really hard. The Panzer Grenadier are going to go down there. Airborne rifles are being pinned down by the Panzer Gens, but I've got 2 units of airborne engineers to back those guys up. Unloaded these airborne engineers to help out here, and I unloaded these airborne rifles. But these 2 units have managed to get all the way up to the town on the left. On the right side, my new Pathfinders are arriving, and we're still trying to deal with the half-track in the right side there. But yeah, I'm really focused on this left side because I've broken through so hard. We've got 56% territory lead because I've managed to get all the way up into this town, which is massive. And I'm able to move my infantry into positions where they can hold the line on the right side as well. These airborne engineers, they're running towards the spear troop at the moment to try and get their napalm on target to burn those guys out. So we're going to get rid of those. What I end up finding though is that there is a Panzer Grenadier squad here, and these airborne engineers do end up getting pinned down because of those. I'm going to be really careful because I don't want these Panzer Grenadiers to make those surrender. The only chance I've got is to make them fall back and hope they don't run into the Panzer Grenadiers, so that's what I go for here. Another unit of Panzer Grenadiers destroyed on the right side. There is a half-track now, causing a bit of issues. Pathfinders have unloaded and spread out here, and one of them was used in combination with the airborne engineers to make a half-track surrender. Verbal-Wind in the middle gets destroyed by an airborne rifles. The other Verbal-Wind kills them off. So that was a really nice lucky kill there, I guess, as they were hiding in the ruins of that building. So now we see a tiger approaching the town along with some infantry. And this is just like a scene out of Band of Brothers, or a scene out of Saving Private Ryan or something. You got the Tiger E. Wittmann coming towards us alongside 2 lots of infantry, and they're against a light force of airborne engineers and airborne rifles. So the Tiger's waiting to enter the town because if it enters sooner, it'll get hit by a bazooka and a side armor. I'm a bit worried about these Panzer Grenadiers, so what I'm going to do is actually move forwards with the airborne engineers, try and get them into a range where they can use their napalm, So here, just got to try and get them into this building. I've just about managed to, and, well, goodbye to Panzer Grenadiers, as I managed to napalm both of them. And what I'm going to do is make them surrender, and job done. Okay, great. Okay, so that's first couple of units dealt with. Using smoke to cross across the open here. If we go back to my point of view, just trying to close the ground onto the infantry in that forest there. And whilst my opponent is busy dealing with the units in the left side, I'm just trying to make as much ground as possible. Valh's airborne paras are getting very close to the opponent's artillery position. 2 mortar half-tracks there alongside a Panzerwerfer, and he's trying to get the airborne paras close enough to do the damage. My Pathfinders are trying to hold the best they can. You can see we're taking down another half-track here. M3 guns moving across to help with any other units we need to deal with. Probably not the best move, since the MG42 and the Panzer Grenadiers take it out almost instantly. But either way, Pathfinders are just being meat shields there. We've got enemy artillery coming in. We've got a Panzerwerfer slamming the town before 2 half-tracks come up with a MG42 and a Panzer Grenadier squad. So these airborne rifles are forced to run away because all of these buildings are burning. However, airborne engineers are still very much alive, and you can see that the opponents are coming in here straight into line of sight of my airborne engineers. Not only are they in range of the grenades, the 50-meter grenades, but they're also going to sit on top of the fire here, forcing them to take a lot of morale damage. Now they drop off some Sturm Pioneers, but the Sturm Pioneers actually start in the flames since my airborne engineers are already fired. And, well, with a little bit of micro here, I'm able to use the airborne engineers to pin down and kill off the Sturm Pioneers. And then I'm going to need to take out the MG42. So again, a little bit more micro allows me to take that out. And the half-track. So one airborne engineer squad takes out 2 half-tracks and 2 more units of infantry, the MG42 and actually a Sturm Pioneer rather than a Panzer Grenadiers. But on this left side, still moving through with my airborne engineers. Over here we've managed to take full control of this tree line. And over here another half-track's causing us issues, but I have some Pathfinders and I also have some airborne engineers keeping those from surrendering. So then we're going to make that surrender by hitting it with a Pathfinder AT grenade. Got Mosquito Pathfinder coming in onto this artillery. This was a bit unfortunate because I was actually bringing up a 4 GPA OP with the 356mm off map, and I really wanted to like concentrate arty onto this position. But instead Valh goes for the napalm there, and he does manage to do quite a lot of morale damage to the mortars and stop them firing, which was useful because they were hitting my airborne rifles hard, but I would have liked to have killed them off for good. So if we go back to my point of view, on this right side, we're holding as best we can. Val's doing a relatively good job of holding back the infantry here, but we're being pushed hard in the centre, and I'm also going to be pushed hard on the left. So airborne engineers, these guys have got to do work. We're actually going to be coming up against 2 Flampanzers now. Flampanzers are great against airborne engineers, but I still have some airborne rifles here. I need to micro these airborne engineers, then use the airborne rifles to bazooka the Flampanzers. So I get rid of 1, and I get rid of a second. There is more half-tracks obviously here. My airborne rifles are already hurt really badly, like in terms of morale, but I'm going to jump them forwards. I'm going to kill another half-track there, or at least get the engine destroyed. Then I'm going to move around to this left side. I'm going to try and get the next bazooka on target, and there goes the second Flampanzer. My airborne engineers here actually surrendered in the end, which is unfortunate. You can't ever imagine like a squad like that surrendering, but either way, so does the airborne rifles as they get slammed by the napalm. I nearly made these guys surrender on this side. The half-track there and the Sturm Pioneers were going to surrender, but this Sturm Pioneer on the left side caught out my unit as I tried to move it forwards, and that's how they suffered their fate. So, yeah. It was a very interesting skirmish in this town, that's for sure, and I certainly made them pay for every inch of that town, which was fantastic. This airborne engineer squad does get caught out. Some recon comes in and spots that and I'm forced to move them back. M4 Sherman was brought up on the left side to support against all these half-tracks and so on, but of course the Tiger Widman is still here. These airborne engineers are getting wrecked, and I've also lost the other airborne engineers as they tried to move across the open here. And that was mainly because I was concentrating so hard on this town. On the right side I lose some airborne paras, and we've been pushed out of this forest area on the attack beacon. So I'm bringing up some 50 caliber machine guns. Val's going to be bringing up a Typhoon with those bombs to blow up that infantry squad and give us some respite. I'm bringing in some off-map onto the town here to maybe like be able to push it back, but they are running towards me with Sturm Pioneers and a Tiger. My M4 moves out. I'm trying to get that into line of sight of the infantry, and the main idea here was to get the M4 to like move to the left side mainly, but it ended up fast moving to the right and not going exactly where I told it to. It basically was going to go up the road slightly and turn left. I should have shown you the order. But yeah, it didn't end up doing that. I wanted to hide it behind this tree line here, so the Tiger would have to come really close or get into a different like angle of fire to actually shoot it. And then I could have used the M4 to shoot across as the Sturm Pioneers come in. By the way, off-map comes in just in time, and that hits these units really, really hard. The reinforcements coming through this town get slammed. Two units of Panzer Grenadiers go down. I also managed to make the Befehl Panzer 4 and the half-track fall back again, although this one's got an engine destroyed, so that's not going anywhere anytime soon. That was from the airborne engineers, or airborne paras earlier. So let's go back to my point of view, and we'll see that Valh is going to be bringing in some infantry to take back the centre. I'm also bringing in infantry of my own. I've got loads of infantry coming up to the left side. And I admit throughout this game I was kind of floating some points. This is a good example of it. I've got 2 sets of infantry coming up because I hadn't completely basically been reinforcing myself efficiently enough. I've got an M3 gun here. I'm trying to get that into a position to take on the Tiger. I don't want it to fire at the half-track to give away its position, so I'm going for the kill onto the Tiger here. This 50 cals pinned down. These 50 cals are helping take out the half-track on the left side. M1 gun is destroyed, I think, on the right. I was moving that forwards. The 50 cals have been brought in here. I've been supporting Valh on the right with like AT weapons and stuff. M3 gun unfortunately doesn't do its job, but Valh's going to come in with the Typhoon AT here and try and kill off the Tiger E Widman. ME-109 is trying to get onto the back of the Typhoon AT. I'm going to be bringing in a Mustang to try and help him out. Unfortunately, the ME-109 is going to get onto target there, and the Mustang's not going to quite be able to do the job, but Valh has his Mosquito Pathfinders here, and I've got my Mustang on target to shoot them down. So this M1 gun, this guy was hero. He just killed Widman in his Tiger as it was retreating. It showed its rear armour and got absolutely annihilated. Also takes out the half-track on the left side. This M1 gun was really doing work. Airborne leader gets caught out on the right side. Should have fallen them back sooner, but I'm bringing up some engineers now. These guys are just as good as airborne engineers in the tree lines here because they have the satchel charges. I was going to be coming in with the napalm here to cover the reinforcement road, and he's also hit the Panzerwerfer there to make sure that can't fire away. M3 gun here is going to pick off a Wirbelwind as it tries to move from right to left. And in the forest here, these airborne engineers are taking out more Sturm Pioneers. These airborne engineers took out loads of Sturm Pioneers throughout this game. It was really nice as they continued to try and push into the forest. So the Panzerwerfer does end up firing either way. Engineers have got quite close here, so these ones are going to end up being bait, whilst these engineers get close as they can to these grenadiers on the left side. And if I can get rid of those grenadiers, that's actually going to make a nice hole here on the left flank. And there we go. So assisted by the P-51 Mustangs there, going to be making a small hole on the left side. So continuing to move up the M1 gun. That's actually going to end up moving through the fire there. not the most ideal movement. I'm just trying to get it up to take care of the Panzer IV. Also need to take care of more Sturm Pioneers, so that's going to happen thanks to the engineers. And now I'm going to move forwards the airborne rifles, try and get a Zuka shot in there, since the M1 gun's not in line of sight and won't be for a little while because of the fire. Bringing over my off map to the right side now to give one last barrage. There goes the airborne rifles Zuka shot into the side of the Panzer IV, so I get rid of that. And I'm being hit hard now by the mortars again. Since there wasn't any infantry that I saw notably coming towards me, I wasn't trying to fall back there. GMC HMG with the 50 cal on top is trying to have a go at this ME-109, was doing a relatively good amount of damage. I've got an M1 gun here and the M3 gun assisting on the right side. I've also got some off-map coming in on top of the Panther G and the Panzer I. And this is a barrage. So basically it fires a shot every so often into this area. And basically what it allows us to do is constantly pin down this Panther G to finally deal with it. Bringing in another off-map for the right side, as we are struggling there. But either way, +1 in our favour, 977 points. We held this town for so long that it gave us a massive lead. And here we see the airborne rifles. Another Zuka shot's going to help them pin down the Panzer Grenadiers very quickly. Take out the half track there thanks to the 50 cal. And another Tiger E has arrived with this M1 gun. Going for the shots. It's got one more shot before it dies. And look at this. Okay, bounce. Tiger E misses. I thought it was going to die. And then Hero actually gets the penetration. Now this is quite unlikely because at that range, that's like 800 meter range, the M1 gun has roughly 13 AP equivalent to take on that Tiger. So it probably had about a 16% chance of penetration. It took 5 shots. So in relative terms, it was about a 50-50 chance of eventually getting the kill. But either way, we do get the kill there, and I was extremely happy about that because I was actually planning to bring in some other stuff to help out. So I had the M10 destroyer coming up to assist against the Tiger. Now 50 cal squad does go down to the surrender there, and these two squads, I should have been falling them back. I kind of disrespected this at this point. Need to get rid of this Flampanzer M1 gun. Can I rely on him? He's actually killed off the Panzerwerfer, and he's going to go for the kill onto the Flampanzer, and his last rights, well, there we go, boom, is this M1 gun, absolute hero. Takes out the Panzerwerfer and finally kills off the Flampanzer just before it dies to the fire. So these airborne engineers were just out of range to use their napalm, which ended up making both of these squads surrender, which was really unfortunate. But like I said, I completely disrespected that, and yeah, managed to let those units go down for free. But Mosquito Pathfinder's coming in and absolutely wrecking an ME-109. They're actually going to get onto the back of the Focke-Wulf 190 as well, and the Mosquito Pathfinder's hitting that hard, and that's 2 planes of the opponents gone down. So continuing the engagements in the centre of the map, we have a little bubble here that we need to worry about, and I have a little bubble up here thanks to these engineers. But since we are so far in the lead, Dugo and Weingartner surrender, and after 25 minutes and 54 seconds, we are victorious, and it was an extremely good game. I really had a lot of fun in this one, especially with that push on the left side that worked out so well. Like, just you can imagine the stories of those like airborne engineers and the airborne paras there, just taking so many like kills. Like that last stand in the church with the napalm was so good. Either way, in the end, I got a lot of kills. 2,807 kills to 1,400 losses. Valh on the right side was having a hard time with his 6th Airborne, and I'm pretty sure he vowed never to play the 6th Airborne again in ranked. But either way, 902 kills to 1,095 losses, and you can see our opponents there with their kills and losses. But yeah, really great game. I had so much fun with this one. I really appreciate these guys playing against us, because I think we were waiting for quite a while to get this game. And Yeah, here's the history, the kills. If we look at the kills, this is interesting because the M3 gun here, this was one of the M3 guns at the start, managed to kill the 2343, the Panzer III and the half-track in the center. These airborne rifles managed to get a Verbelwind kill. These were the ones sat at the Central Chateau for the majority of the game. Airborne rifles picking off the Boy de Cromwell eventually in the center, and the 50 cals picking off a few units here and there. These are the hero airborne engineers with the 2 Panzer Grenadier kills, the Sturm Pioneer kill, the MG42 and the 2 half-tracks. That really paid them off. Then we see some airborne rifles with the 2 Flam Panzer kills. Those were the guys with the Zuka in that town, picking off those 2 units. Then we see the naval battery coming in and getting only a few kills, honestly. That wasn't the most effective naval battery I've ever used, but managed to pin down the Panther for a very long time and did stop a lot of the reinforcements on the left side. This M3 gun again picking up another Verbelwind, and this M1 gun, this is another hero of this game, picking off 2 Tiger E's, Panzerwerfer, Flampanzer, and this is why you use Panthers in my opinion first before you bring out Tigers, because an M1 gun wouldn't have had a chance against a Panther as opposed to a Tiger, but either way. That's what our opponent chose to use, and airborne rifles picking off the Panzer IV as well. So a lot of units that are unlikely to do a lot of damage, doing a lot of damage. And although, yeah, of course, airborne engineers are very, very strong right now, I did not expect that play to work out in the town. It did in the end, though. If we jump over to losses, not too much going down to the Boy de Cromwell in the well. I actually managed that relatively well with the smoke. Tiger Eve Whitman did take out the Sherman, which was unfortunate. And a few Panzer Grenadier squads getting more kills than they probably should have, but either way, that was about it. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.